Calling out all my nerds, freaks, and geeks. It's mob time.
Don't tune in cause it's showtime. Go ahead and call the gang up for the one time. Rap, Phoop, Ryun, got them on the line. And my life's still great, I'm doing just fine. Hands up.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Blerd Mob, your hub for all things black and nerdy. I'm your host, Phoop, joined by my two co-hosts, Ryun and Antoine. And we're just bringing you guys a little bit of sidebar conversation coming off the Superman movie in the recent interview that Kevin Feige did about the future of the MCU and some other things. But it's mainly going to be focused towards superhero fatigue and some comments from Kevin Feige towards Superman, and it kind of leads towards Kevin Feige saying that it's not based on the performance of Superman, that there is no superhero fatigue, or it's not superhero fatigue. And I just want to know, did Superman cure superhero fatigue, or was it really a thing and just Superman was just one of those movies that broke the mold?
I think Kevin Feige is absolutely right. There is no superhero fatigue. I feel like there is a MCU fatigue because the MCU, if you watch enough of their films, does have a typical formula that they follow for their movies. And after over a decade, how long has it been since Iron Man 1, if that's the official intro into the MCU? 15 years?
That's been a minute, yeah.
After this many years and the formula hasn't changed much, especially with these Phase 6 and latter parts of Phase 5 movies, I think that's the fatigue. I don't think it's necessarily DC. I think it's just the MCU formula for how they do their films.
Okay, and just to read a little bit of the piece of the article or the piece of the interview where Kevin Feige talks about this.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about the problems with some of the recent MCU projects, or basically everything that's been like post Endgame, and why it's felt like we've been getting an overflow of TV shows and movies, and how some movies have been performing really well and some movies have been underperforming. The article says, consequently, Feige believes the well-documented problems Marvel's been facing over the last year stem from an overabundance of supply and not a sudden drop in demand. Look at Superman, he said, of the hit film, which opened to $125 million domestically and has grossed $407 million globally to date, is clearly not superhero fatigue.
Yeah,
That is a... Go ahead, Antoine.
he's not wrong. That is a good point. Especially the kind of like the oversupply part. Like I watch MCU stuff, of course, because I do like the MCU, so I'm gonna watch the stuff they put out. Even for me, like they were putting out a lot of stuff, and I just wasn't keeping up with all of it because I was like, this is I didn't care for some of it. So I don't know if they need a break or they just like Brian said, maybe they just need to change their formula, especially if they're planning on doing like a reset. But yeah.
I, I don't. For me, I kind of took a different approach. I think when he's saying there's an oversupply, I feel like that's a bit of a stretch. In our current content generation world, where YouTube gives us days worth of content every second because of the hours of videos they drop, where we got Twitch, we got Netflix, we got all these different studios that merge into these streaming apps. There's been an abundance of content, but the good content stands out at the end of the day. MCU hasn't been standing out.
But I think that's what he's saying, though. I don't think he's talking about an overabundance of supply in media in general. I think he's talking about as far as like superhero content. Because for a good portion of let's just say post-COVID, majority of the superhero films we have been seeing or indulging in has been the MCU. And not only has it been films, it's also been TV shows. And
Mhm.
these movies, and there have been good TV shows, and there have been good movies, and there's been TV shows and movies that have underperformed. And like coming from Antoine's perspective, he's not watching all them shows. If it doesn't catch his attention, or if it's not something he feels like he needs to watch, he's not tuning in. And I could see it, and I kind of see superhero fatigue from a movie perspective. Like when you go to see an MCU film that they've been hyping up, and it's the MCU and their legacy and everything that comes with that, and then you walk out the movie feeling underwhelmed, and then 3 months later you got to go see another MCU film.
Hmm.
But that's why he's not wrong when he say there's no superhero fatigue, and I think he's not telling the full truth if he doesn't say it's more so a Marvel hero fatigue. I like when he made the comparison to Batman. You're exactly, I mean, not Batman, Superman. You're exactly right. The Superman movie did good. The Boys, the series is doing good. These other superhero forms of content are doing good. What's going on in Marvel that is making your customers and your consumers say, I'm not really feeling this anymore. I don't want this piece of chicken anymore. I want that fried turkey
So
neck over there.
if I had to compare it to something, I would say like how Naruto, right? For the anime fans out there, I would say like how Naruto, it was so much going on with this build up. And for the OG Naruto fans, we went so far until their timeline. And then they got up to this big climax. Everybody watched it. Okay, Naruto's over. And then they went into Boruto. And a lot of Naruto fans did not watch Boruto because they was like, okay, now we doing too much. Like, what's this? Well, I don't even want to partake into that. So I feel like with the MCU, with Endgame, it was such a climax that they might be struggling to, like, I guess, continue after it to like keep everybody's attention because Endgame was so good to so many consumers that maybe the bar that we're expecting for the follow-on movies is like we're gonna get some more end games, but we're not getting end games with everything that the MCU releases after that.
It's I don't think that's entire I don't think that that's entirely wrong or accurate. I feel like it just goes a little further. Yes, a lot of Naruto fans are sick of Boruto, but there's elements as to why it is, and it's not just because there's a continuing series. Some people have issues with the writing, the
The
rollout, and the fact
animation.
that the animation, the rollout, the fact that the first 200 episodes are filler, how
Mhm.
now that you've have these rules in your universe, does Boruto even follow these rules? A lot of people were thrown off with just Kaguya the alien when that was not the foundation behind the franchise. You started to break your own rules. There's deeper elements in just that example than we're just tired of Boruto because we got so much Naruto. Because if
And
that's
I
the case, we'll be tired of One Piece, which is one of the most top selling mangas,
and
which
to
ain't the case.
and to tie in Ryan's to tie that into the MCU to make the connection. I feel like the fatigue or in the fatigue is that we when Disney Plus came out, there was a demand for all of these Marvel TV shows. And we were getting TV shows for heroes that we're not sure if we're going to get. Like, we're watching series of heroes that we don't know if we're going to get again. Um, or we're watching TV shows or movies are coming out and we have to watch these set of TV shows to understand what's going on into this movie. Kevin Feige said like one of the reasons of why Thunderbolts underperformed like it did is because most of the characters came from Disney Plus series or they were mentioned like one time in a movie back in like phase 3 or phase 4 and we never saw them again.
I think that's a pretty decent point. I don't think that's
Mhm.
inaccurate either.
Mhm.
But going to Ryan's point, I don't think it was because of the continuation past in game. I think it just might have been like the projects that they were putting out because some were really good. We want to talk about WandaVision. We want to talk about Loki. And there's more like I know some people really enjoy Moon Knight. I really like Ironheart, the most recent one. But then when we get into the movies and as we're moving towards the future, um when are these characters coming back? Are we just
Yeah.
watching superhero TV shows just for the sake of it? And then there's some TV shows that I didn't like Secret Invasion. Like why did I have to watch Secret Invasion?
And then also I would say that goes into the rollout. Like Marvel did a great job. Well, MCU did a great job by creating this united universe. That is something that prior to the MCU was not that big of a thing. Not with video games, not with TV series, not with movies. It's barely even any book series that go past 5 books, let alone books that break away from the main storyline, but they're all connected. But now that you have that and you tell us, oh, despite all of the good anime dropping, the video games dropping, the books dropping, the fact that COVID's over and we can go outside again, you want me to watch like 6, 7 different projects in 1 year so that I can know what's going on in Project 8 next year and let alone Project 9. When you keep it all continuous and you set these standards, it's like, well, I don't feel like doing that. And now when I miss out on something, yeah, I'm not going to go watch Thunderbolts because who is Yelena? Is that connected? I really don't care because I ain't watched the other 3 series y'all said are connected. That's
Or
going to be
it
some fans' responses.
that and I think the other thing is just that because some of these series and these movies post Endgame have been such hit and a miss that it's like, damn, another TV show. Like, imagine coming off. I did not like Secret Invasion, so then it's like, damn, now I gotta wait for the next uh TV show. I hope that's good. Or when I walked out of Ant-Man 3 and I was like, this is a waste of my fucking time, and I forgot what movie was supposed to be coming after that, and I was like, well, I hope this one is also not a waste of my damn time.
Yeah, because MCU has created a legacy. Like at this point, we was there. We was there for even Black Panther. Just being a black guy and seeing a black superhero and how monumental that was. It got to a point where MCU had these films that you feel like you had to be a part of. They're pop culture. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
watching them, and now you're feeding off of that legacy. But it's a lot of people who are like trying still doing that. But it's like we're going in. I know I gotta watch this, but is this really hitting for real? Did
And
Right.
I
I
actually enjoy this, or am I watching it because I have to?
Yeah.
and I feel like it's both. Like, I watch it because if a Marvel series comes out, I'm gonna watch it, and at the end, I'll just be like, I didn't really have to watch this. But if a Marvel movie or a Marvel series is on the list, it's already in my head that I'm gonna watch it. But then on
Mm-hmm.
the other end of it, is that it just sometimes it's not hitting.
Yeah.
So
I agree with.
from my perspective, I like superhero movies. So for me, the demand is there. But when all of these movies and all of these TV shows are coming out, and some of them are a hit and some of them are a miss, and then it's still like this coming up. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and I think the thing with Superman is that Superman was fresh. There's a lot of things behind Superman that made it one of the most highly anticipated movies of this summer.
Yeah.
But we just did the review for it, so make sure you check out our Superman mob review after this. But it felt fresh, like from all of the. I guess if you were disappointed in how Marvel was going and you only have a couple movies in these past couple phases that you like and you really like Superman, I think there was a certain difference on how that movie felt.
I mean, well, and even then, let's just touch on that. Let's really touch on that. And part of the thing that gave Superman a leg up versus bad expectations. Superman was the first genuine alternative to our MCU films that was marketed as a potentially good alternative. Like when you look back, a lot of people knew that the Zack Snyder verse wasn't really finna hit. A lot of people was already disappointed back to back, back to back, back to back. No, everybody was like DC is Marvel's competitor, but this DC universe y'all have right now, after a couple films, it really was like this ain't a good competitor. Now you come bring James Gunn proven to be successful. Oh, this is a name we're familiar with. So you're telling us that this film actually might compete with Marvel, and Marvel has already declined from a lot of people's perspectives. That gave this film a leg up. It made people actually interested in going to watch it, whether they liked DC, whether they liked Superman, whether they fatigued by superheroes or whatever.
Yeah, I
Mm,
think the fact that people walked out and said this is a good superhero movie was like, okay, I'll give this a try.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like Ryan just said, I do feel like it's a breath of fresh air because we've just been watching Marvel MCU for so long, and that's been the bar, that's been the expectation. So it'll be nice just to go on the other side and see something a little different. Like, how are they gonna do
Mm-hmm.
it over here in the DCU? Oh, this is nice. I like how they did that. That's completely different than how Marvel did that. So, and maybe that'll cure some of the fatigue with the MCU that people might have. Like maybe if I have something else to go and look at, maybe it'll make me. I can go back and forth now. It's not just following this one path, this one thing. It's like, because if you watch the same thing over and over, it's like, okay, I'm getting tired of this. I need to go do something else. So maybe this will give us that freshness that we need to go. I don't know, watch another superhero movie, and then we can just go back and forth between the two of them. Two good universes.
I
I'll agree on.
agree. And I wanna touch on Ron's thing that it's not superhero fatigue. Is it just Marvel fatigue? Because this whole time, this post Endgame or this post COVID arena has been dominated by Marvel TV shows and Marvel movies. So I don't think anybody's like stop making superhero movies. I think it's more so is that there's been some hits and misses with this saga of the MCU, and there's been so much of it that it does feel like fatigue. It does feel tiring. It does, I don't know, it might feel like a chore to watch the next MCU film or the next MCU show, but just because we're so invested in the universe and we're dedicated fans, we feel like we have to.
Exactly. Like if you ask even the most average person, I would objectively say the average person who's like, what, let's just start of our ages, 28 and up, has probably watched 10 MCU films at this point. Well, even if they are not a MCU fan, some of the biggest movies in the past decade have been MCU films. After that writer strike, you want to know the only stuff that was actually dropping? I mean, during the writer strike, MCU stuff. MCU was the only ones that really had stuff on the back burner, stuff already in development. I think what we did have John Wick Chapter 4. Did that come before the strike? I can't even remember. But like, unless it was like a major brand, like a major franchise, MCU has been dominating, bro. So it's
Well,
like
some
everybody
of their
has
stuff
invested.
some of their stuff did get pushed back. Now I will say the writer strike did make them have to space out some of their stuff, which is why Thunderbolts came out in May, because I think it was supposed to come out in like November. May have been like November 2024 or something like that, and that had to get pushed back. So the writer strike did make them have to space some stuff out, but before then it was just like back to back TV show, movie, TV show. Is it gonna tie in? We don't know. TV
Mhm.
show,
And
movie.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, even though, because I don't want to contradict one of my earlier points that there is an influx of content, but I do want to take into consideration that if we look at popular content and what's big and what people can attach themselves to, like the next big thing that I get to go to work and talk about and go talk to my friends about for the past decade, if you list out what have been like the 50 biggest things to talk about in film and television, Marvel is going to take up over half of that list instantly. And I said 50. Like, what else can you think of? House of the Dragon? John Wick? Okay, that's like 2 seasons and 4 movies of a selection. After that, all the WandaVision and MCU films and movies. TV series. It's been a lot.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
we're always seeing you MCU, and sometimes you're not that good.
Yeah.
And
I,
and
I,
I guess that's where, because the term, I hadn't heard the term superhero fatigue until we got into this post Endgame stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Feige has admitted that they've produced almost like double the amount of uh watch hours of content in this phase alone than they did when they did the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
I,
it. Go ahead, Antoine.
I was gonna go back. You can continue what you was gonna say. I was gonna go back to one of Portia's earlier point, but if you have something to say about what she just
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
said, I was gonna go back to one of the earlier points that was stated about how we kind of I kind of, for me, I know some of the Marvel like series and stuff like that. I felt like I only watched them because I wanted to because like Fu said, like it's probably gonna play a role. Don't know for sure. It might. So for things like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that was not something that really just got my attention. I wasn't like sitting down like, oh, I can't wait to watch this. That's probably gonna be exciting. I
Same.
wasn't mad at it, like it was decent, but I feel like I know for a fact I only watched that because I was like, okay, this is probably gonna play a role into this other thing that they're gonna release. So I need to watch this so that I'm not lost when the next movie or whatever comes out. So and it was yeah, it was like that. I forget what else I watched, but I only watched it for the same reason of that.
That was my biggest motive. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be so for real. That was my biggest motivation for most of these MCU films. Either what's going to happen next, or rather, my priority reason. Oh, we gotta talk about it at the Blerd Mob, and somebody needs to get under Foop's skin and give all these contrarian opinions. Like I watched Fantastic Four quite literally because I got to talk about on the Blerd Mob for my review. We finna start our content back up now that we done with college. I wasn't interested in that movie. Nothing about the marketing interested me. I was not. None of the characters really were attractive to me in terms of like not attractive as like visually, but like their personalities didn't scream out to me. The designs ain't really scream out to me. I know they did that little old tech vibe that from like the Jetsons. It ain't really scream out to me. I'm a fantasy dude. I was like, if I could avoid this, I would. But this is probably going to mark a turning point in the MCU. It's something that I'm going to have to talk about in the podcast, so let me go watch it. Oh, it wasn't that good. When you're forced to watch things and indulge in things that you don't like, you're going to build resentment. That's just natural human a trait. Like, I barely want to be here. I feel forced to be here. Not that I am, but I feel
And that's
encouraged to be
and that's
here.
and that's why I'm saying like it's the fatigue more than the fact that they put out so much content that it felt like a chore to watch
Yes.
the MCU. Like I would say this year alone has been spaced out pretty well with the amount of content that the MCU has put out because we got Captain America in February, Thunderbolts in May. We're in July with Fantastic Four. I, I Agatha came out last year. I think the only MCU TV show we've gotten was Ironheart that came out in June, and we're getting some animated series for the rest of this year. But as far as I don't know if those animated series are going to tie into the MCU or if they're just going to be standalone things. But as far as the MCU is concerned, we haven't gotten a lot this year. But if we want to talk about when Disney Plus first dropped, like post Endgame COVID area, it was WandaVision, Loki, The Eternals, Black Widow, Hawkeye. I'm trying to think of what else. It was Thor, and then Shang-Chi. It was like a big influx of MCU content that we had to consume all the way up until like the writer's strike.
And
And Foop, let's talk about what a lot even is. You named like 5 different things this year,
And that
and said that wasn't a lot. Really think about and compare to any other industry where you get even more than 4 major products for any industry in a year from the same company.
I
We
only
got
named
more
I
than
only
one.
named I only named 4 things.
I thought you named like 5. You said Agatha, the
No,
movies, Iron.
Agatha was last year. We only got
Okay,
Captain America 4, Thunderbolts,
Iron,
Fantastic Four, and Ironheart this year.
and that's it for this year.
That's it.
Okay, I was going to say. Now I'm just going to focus on the other years to not lose the point. Getting something more than one thing every quarter in one industry from the same company is a bit. That's a lot in general. Most companies only
And
drop like at most 2 things a year.
and you saying that, I guess, is kind of proving my point. If you saying that this year with us having 4 MCU projects is a lot, if you want to talk about how that shit was coming out when Disney Plus first hit the streaming services, that was crazy. And we forgot to put Falcon and the Winter Soldier on my list, and then it was Moon Knight, and then it was I'm trying to think of what else. It was I can't remember everything, but there was a lot of MCU content that we were taking in at
mhm.
that time,
And I'm just now
and
catching
Exactly.
up on some of that
and the
stuff.
and some of the DC stuff that was coming out during that time was like a hit and a miss. Like we want to take a break and go see a DC movie, but then we walk out seeing damn Black Adam, that Suicide Squad movie that James Gunn
Forgot
did.
about Black Adam.
That's what I'm saying. Like that James Gunn, that the Suicide Squad was pretty good. So, but like the big, the majority of it was the MCU, and it was so much of it coming at one time. So if you thought this year is a lot, back then was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to say I don't think any of this is coming from like hater perspectives on like Marvel. Like I'm not mad at Marvel. They putting out their stuff. And I of course I want Marvel to continue to put out stuff, because we of course you don't have to watch the stuff that they put out, but I think it just goes into the conversation that we're trying to have about like is it too much or is it too or
I would
should they pull back or what?
to go back to the initial question: if Superman cured superhero fatigue, is there superhero fatigue? From Kevin Feige's statement, I would say no. I don't think people want to stop making or want to stop seeing superhero movies. I
Right.
think that it's just been so much of it, specifically from Marvel, that
From
you
one
could call
side.
it that you could call it Marvel fatigue. But I think it's just been so much content between like the end of Endgame up till now, and some of it has been underwhelming and underperforming, that it feels like superhero fatigue is a thing.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't think. But if we're coming from the fact that we don't that super fatigue, like we don't want it, I don't think that's true. I don't
Yep.
think we don't want superhero movies.
Right, right.
Yeah. And I guess even if it was to play devil's advocate, how would you solve that? I would say they're kind of on the right track. Don't overwhelm us with too many projects. Be a little bit more strategic. Don't it's time we don't need enough we don't need nice to haves anymore. There's more than enough content out there. Create the stuff that you know audiences are begging for. And make sure that you offer the best freaking product ever. We don't need all them extras. We don't need all the nice to haves. Really make some curated content for your fan base. And most of your fan base is casuals anyway, and make sure it's good.
I think the best thing Marvel decided, and I think this came out either last year, was that they were limiting the quantity of how much they were
Yep.
putting out, which I think is a good thing. I also forgot there is Wonder Man is coming out in December. So that's another live action project. So that does make 5. I forgot about Wonder
Yeah.
Man. But the fact that they said they're going to limit the quantity might also help with that quote unquote superhero fatigue, or that quote unquote Marvel fatigue that we're feeling, because we can watch Fantastic Four and take a breather until December when Wonder Man comes out. And then after Wonder Man, we can take another breather from the MCU and wait until Spider-Man comes out, which I think is like summer 2026. And then after that, we can take another breather and go see Doomsday in December.
And also an indirect benefit. Competition is better for the consumer. Let's just be real. If DC can stay consistent, go back and watch our Superman mob review, y'all. If DC can stay consistent and push out some good movies, that might put more of a fire under MCU. Let's see.
So
Let's look at this customer feedback. What do they like about DC? That doesn't take us away from what makes us a franchise. What makes Marvel Marvel? No, we're not. But let's see what DC is integrated in. That's really drawing in customers and some of our consumers, and see if we
yeah,
could add a few sprinkles or substitutes into our films and shows.
that's a true
That's going to help them
statement.
as well.
Yeah.
I I think we ate good this summer with a MCU movie and a DCU movie coming out in the same month. And that's the type of eating I want to continue to have as the DCU progresses and as the MCU progresses out of this multiverse saga and into the mutant saga.
Yeah. I think that
I don't want us to go cold turkey
right,
on superhero movies.
right.
I just chill out a bit.
Yeah,
I know you.
like
I
Ryan
know you
says,
talk about
that's
once.
competition is yeah, the competition is definitely gonna drive them up. And I think that's gonna be nice.
Foop always talks about my food metaphor. She said, "I think we ate real good, and I don't want to go cold turkey. Like, I want to keep eating. Like, you hungry,
Nah,
ain't it? You talking about me? No, you talking about me and my food references and metaphors. You big backing it up over here. Big back.
First of
Yeah,
all,
that's me.
cold
30
turkey.
minutes.
Cold turkey
30 minutes.
is a metaphor. You come up in here and say, here the macaroni, here the greens, and sometimes I want to mix them, and sometimes I want to eat them separately, and sometimes this like your mama cake. Now you don't want to listen no more because we didn't hit 30 minutes. Boy, I tell you.
I gotta follow my host rules. Antoine, didn't our host say we cutting this episode off at 30? We over the limit.
He looked at the time and saw he had 30 seconds left so he can get his shit in. And he's like, it's 30 minutes.
Now's my chance.
My time has come.
What you said I was? The host. This shit shuts down. When I say this shit shuts down. And if I want to get my minute in to tell you about yourself, we gonna do that.
Boy, I tell you about them power hungry people. If they can get power at HOA over the nation or even in a podcast episode, they gonna take it.
He provoked me.
That's a superhero complex right there. Forget fatigue. That's a complex.
He provoked me.
Young Lex.
Talking about I'm bit backing it over here. Like he don't talk about like he don't compare superhero films to mac and cheese and yams every other day.
Why you mad?
Why you mad?
You mad?
Been mad.
I ain't trying to argue with you.
You were though, because you could have just not said nothing.
He did have to get that point out.
Yeah, you could have.
But I did it. But I did it before and hit 30.
But listen though, if you really cared about the 30 minutes, you would have said that shit when the episode was over. So yes, you did want to argue with me.
I think you're just trying to. I feel like you're just trying to find ways to validate yourself.
No,
and that's a part of that superhero complex. And I'm gonna let you have it because this ain't therapy. This is content for our fans.
All right, we finna get out of here. You finna piss me off. But yeah, we're shutting this down. So thank you, Antoine and Ryun, for joining me on another discussion from the Blerd Mob podcast. For more little snippets like this, little debates, little conversations like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you like this video and leave a comment and let us know how you felt about superhero fatigue. Is it a thing? Is it not a thing? And if it is a thing, did Superman cure it? Make sure to follow us on our social media platforms. We're on Instagram at the Blerd Mob Pod, on Twitter at the Blerd Mob. You can find us on TikTok and Facebook at the Blerd Mob Podcast. And thank you guys for watching. This is the mob checking out. Peace. And if Logan was the anchor being and that Earth was already deteriorating, my theory is that they probably took her out early because the TVA in Loki season 1, they was just proving timelines like, y'all gotta go. Like they was just pressing that, like that Jimmy